Today, we're going to build something extremely useful. Spanish for buying things and running simple errands. Real-life Spanish. The kind that helps when you need bread, shampoo, a notebook, medicine, or when you just want to survive a quick trip out of the house without turning it into a dramatic documentary called Where Did My Words Go? The big idea is simple. For errands in Spanish, you do not need fancy grammar. You need a few strong verbs and a few survival expressions that work almost everywhere. The stars of today's lesson are necesito, I need; busco, I'm looking for; quiero, I want; quisiera, I would like; tengo que, I have to; puedo, I can; and I, there is or there are. If you remember just those, you can do a lot. Necesito pan, I need bread; busco una farmacia, I'm looking for a pharmacy; quisiera una botella de agua, I'd like a bottle of water; puedo pagar con tarjeta, can I pay by card? Very practical, very portable. Let's start with necesito, I need. This is one of your best friends. It's direct, clear, and useful. Necesito leche, I need milk. Necesito una bolsa, I need a bag. Necesito efectivo, I need cash. Little shortcut when your brain freezes. Necesito plus the thing often saves you. How do you say I need bread in Spanish? Necesito pan. Necesito pan. Good. Pan is bread. Nice and short. Also notice there's no article there. In everyday Spanish, necesito pan sounds more natural than necesito el pan, if you just mean bread in general. Now let's add busco, I'm looking for. This is softer than saying I need, and very natural in shops. Busco jabón, I'm looking for soap. Busco una batería, I'm looking for a battery. Busco una tienda, I'm looking for a shop. How do you say I'm looking for a small notebook in Spanish? Busco un cuaderno pequeño. Busco un cuaderno pequeño. Nice. Cuaderno is notebook. Pequeño is small. And here's a tiny pattern tip. In Spanish, descriptive words usually come after the noun. So not small notebook first, but cuaderno pequeño, notebook small. That word order will start feeling normal very quickly. Now, quiero versus quisiera. Quiero means I want. Quisiera literally feels more like I would like. In many errands, quisiera sounds more polite and smooth. Both can work, but if you want an easy trick, use quisiera with strangers in shops. Quisiera una botella de agua. I'd like a bottle of water. Quisiera unas pilas. I'd like some batteries. A memory trick. Quisiera sounds a little like I wish I had. That can help you remember the polite feeling. It's not exactly the same meaning, but it points you in the right direction. Let's move to location language, because errands often begin with finding the place. ¿Dónde está? Means where is. How do you say where is the pharmacy in Spanish? ¿Dónde está la farmacia? ¿Dónde está la farmacia? Perfect. Farmacia is pharmacy. Notice the stress in donde. And while we're here, está means is located, which is exactly what you want for places. ¿Dónde está el banco? Where is the bank? ¿Dónde está el mercado? Where is the market? Another super useful word is hay. There is or there are. Hay una panadería cerca. There's a bakery nearby. ¿Hay un cajero aquí? Is there an ATM here? Cajero often means ATM in this context. Very handy. How do you say, is there a supermarket nearby in Spanish? ¿Hay un supermercado cerca? ¿Hay un supermercado cerca? Excellent. Cerca means near or nearby. Tiny side note. If you want to say nearby here, you can also hear por aquí, around here. So, ¿hay una farmacia por aquí? Means, is there a pharmacy around here? Now let's talk about paying. because finding things is only half the adventure. You also need survival checkout language. Pagar is to pay. Con tarjeta means by card. En efectivo means in cash. How do you say, can I pay by card in Spanish? ¿Puedo pagar con tarjeta? Puedo pagar con tarjeta. Very good. That sentence is gold. Keep it in your pocket. ¿Puedo pagar con tarjeta? You can also ask, ¿aceptan tarjeta? Do you accept card? But if you only remember one, use puedo pagar con tarjeta. And if you need cash, en efectivo is the phrase. ¿Puedo pagar en efectivo? Can I pay in cash? Now quantity. We are not making the whole lesson about prices or colors, but in real errands you do need amounts. A little, a lot, 1, 2, half a kilo, a bottle, a package. Think of quantity as the backpack your nouns travel in. Useful chunks. 1 kilo de manzanas, a kilo of apples. Medio kilo de tomates, half a kilo of tomatoes. Una botella de agua, a bottle of water. Un paquete de arroz, a package of rice. How do you say I'd like half a kilo of tomatoes in Spanish? Quisiera medio kilo de tomates. Quisiera medio kilo de tomates. Great. Medio kilo is half a kilo. Tomates, tomatoes. Notice de in the middle. Medio kilo de tomates. That de is very common after containers and amounts. Una botella de agua, un kilo de arroz, una caja de té. Let's make things more realistic. Imagine you walk into a bakery. You can say, Hola, quisiera pan por favor. Hello, I'd like bread please. Or more specifically, quisiera una barra de pan. I'd like a loaf of bread. If you're in a hurry, even pan por favor works, but a full sentence feels friendlier. How do you say I'd like a bottle of water in Spanish? Quisiera una botella de agua. Quisiera una botella de agua. Nice. And here's a useful little detour. Agua is a feminine noun, but you often hear el agua, not la agua, in the singular, because it sounds smoother before that stressed A sound. But with adjectives, it's still feminine. El agua fría, the cold water. You do not need to memorize every detail right now. Just notice the phrase una botella de agua and keep going. Now another common errand, a pharmacy. You might say, busco algo para el dolor de cabeza. I'm looking for something for a headache. Or, necesito medicina para la tos. I need medicine for a cough. Algo para means something for. Super useful. How do you say, I need something for a headache in Spanish? Necesito algo para el dolor de cabeza. Necesito algo para el dolor de cabeza. Excellent. That structure works beautifully. Necesito algo para el resfriado. I need something for a cold. Necesito algo para la garganta. I need something for the throat. Let's also cover one very everyday thing. Errands often involve not finding what you need. No problem. You can ask, ¿Tiene? Do you have? Tiene comes from tener, to have. ¿Tiene jabón? Do you have soap? ¿Tiene pilas? Do you have batteries? How do you say, do you have stamps in Spanish? ¿Tiene sellos? ¿Tiene sellos? Great. Sellos means stamps. Very post office friendly. And if something is unavailable, you may hear, no hay, there isn't any, or no tenemos, we don't have it. Those are worth recognizing even if you don't use them much at first. Now let's stitch these phrases into a short story. Listen first in Spanish. Esta mañana salí de casa temprano. Primero, fui a la panadería y dije, quisiera una barra de pan, por favor. Después, busqué una farmacia porque necesitaba algo para el dolor de cabeza. En la farmacia pregunté, ¿puedo pagar con tarjeta? Más tarde entré en una papelería y dije, Busco un cuaderno pequeño. Al final, volví a casa con pan, medicina y mi cuaderno nuevo. Now let's go line by line. Esta mañana salí de casa temprano. This morning I left home early. Primero, fui a la panadería y dije, quisiera una barra pan, por favor. First, I went to the bakery and said, I'd like a loaf of bread, please. Después, busqué una farmacia porque necesitaba algo para el dolor de cabeza. After that, I looked for a pharmacy because I needed something for a headache. En la farmacia pregunté, ¿puedo pagar con tarjeta? At the pharmacy I asked, can I pay by card? Más tarde entré en una papelería y dije, busco un cuaderno pequeño. Later I went into a stationery store and said, I'm looking for a small notebook. Al final, volví a casa con pan, medicina y mi cuaderno nuevo. In the end, I returned home with bread, medicine, and my new notebook. That story gives you a nice errand map. Go somewhere, ask for something, ask about payment, find another place, buy another thing, go home victorious like a very practical superhero. Now let's talk about common mistakes learners make. First, using too much English word order. In Spanish, descriptions often come after the noun. So say un cuaderno pequeño, not pequeño cuaderno in these normal everyday situations. Second, forgetting por favor. It's small, but powerful. Quisiera una botella de agua, por favor, sounds smoother and friendlier. Third, mixing up necesito and busco. Necesito means I need. Busco means I'm looking for. If you already know exactly what you need, necesito works. If you're searching in a shop, busco often feels more natural. Fourth, saying a whole sentence in your head and then panicking halfway through. Here's the trick. Build from chunks. Necesito plus thing. Busco plus thing. Quisiera plus thing. ¿Puedo pagar con tarjeta? Don't wait for perfect. Use the chunk and move. Fifth, forgetting store names. A few very useful ones. Panadería, bakery. Farmacia, pharmacy. Supermercado, supermarket. Papelería, stationery store. Mercado, market. A memory tip. Many store words end in ería. Panadería, bakery. Papelería, stationery store. Not always, but often enough to help. Let's do a few more quick real-life moments together. How do you say I'm looking for soap in Spanish? Busco jabón. Busco jabón. How do you say I need cash in Spanish? Necesito efectivo. Necesito efectivo. How do you say do you have batteries in Spanish? ¿Tiene pilas? ¿Tiene pilas? How do you say where is the market in Spanish? ¿Dónde está el mercado? ¿Dónde está el mercado? How do you say I'd like a bag in Spanish? Quisiera una bolsa. Quisiera una bolsa. Beautiful. You can feel the system now, right? A few verbs, a few key nouns, and suddenly you can handle a surprising number of errands. Here's your practical recap. For needs, use necesito. Necesito pan. For searching, use busco. Busco una farmacia. For polite requests, use quisiera. Quisiera una botella de agua. For location, use ¿dónde está? And I. For payment, keep ¿puedo pagar con tarjeta? Ready at all times. For quantities, remember patterns like una botella de, un kilo de, medio kilo de. And most importantly, keep it concrete. Think like a person on a real street, not like someone taking a grammar test. Bread, water, medicine, notebook, card, bag, pharmacy, market. Real words for real life. You're doing exactly what works in language learning. Learning the phrases that actually get used. That means next time you hear or need one of these, it won't feel random. It will feel familiar. Little by little, familiar turns into automatic. So take these with you today. Necesito, busco, quisiera, ¿dónde está? Hay, ¿puedo pagar con tarjeta? That is a very strong errand toolkit. Nice work today. Keep listening, repeat out loud, and the next time you need to buy something in Spanish, don't wait for perfect. Just start with the chunk you know and let the conversation grow from there.